Right, coach chat. Today we are going to go over training plateaus or plateaus in training, and cover some topics with our experiences on why they may occur, and how we can get through them. So,
which coach chat is this?
9. I think this is 9.
A few.
Yeah. Well, hang on. The future, and then you did a nutrition one. Future was 7, and then last week was 8, and this week's 9.
Right.
Was that your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do plateaus occur, and are they necessarily a bad thing? Because we think injury, things like injury and plateaus, it must be a bad thing, everything's shit. So what do you reckon? Why do plateaus occur?
Multiple different things. Can be doing too much, too little.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the athlete, where they're at.
Yeah.
It's more figuring out why they're occurring.
Yeah.
Which is a question, but
Which we will go over in a lot of detail, I think, today.
yeah, it's got to be very individual. Like
Yeah.
everyone responds differently to different kind of, I guess, rep ranges, intensity, volume, and everything. It's about figuring out what works for a specific person over time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't necessarily say that you're plateauing, because at the same time as if you're stalling or slowing down, you're still doing the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's like, and that's why I likened it to injury. I think there's different kind of ways you can look at your training and whether or not you think or the coach thinks that's a plateau. So like, maybe we can define it. What is a plateau?
Oh, I guess when you just feel like you're not progressing.
Yeah. So numbers. So
Yeah.
someone who comes and hits the same number or regresses on the platform 3 or 4 comps in a row.
Yeah, regression's really, really hard. It's probably worse than plateau. If it's actual regression, like you can regression in terms of training total, but that's because you may have just went a bit too heavy on a third attempt, and then, your total just ends up a bit smaller than it was before because you've missed 2 third attempts, and then the meet before you went 9 from 9. So that's not really a regression. That's just you got a bit greedy, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, your second attempt might have been far closer to a third attempt in a previous competition.
Yeah.
But then your third attempt you've gone and missed, which makes your total look like it's regressed when it actually hasn't. You have gotten stronger.
Yeah.
Just didn't perform as well, I suppose.
Yeah, performance. So I guess, it's really important to define what plateaus are. So, not performing for over a period of time from block to block. I guess not getting stronger in the aim of this game. We'll go through later on reasons why they occur in detail, because there is a fair few reasons why you may not be making progress. Because at the end of the day, a plateau is just a lull in progress. But we'll go over them later. But first up, what are some common myths surrounding plateaus?
Oh, we have there like only one lift can go up at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or people thinking that they are a deadlift specialist, that's why they can't bench.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Like, I used to even think that myself, and now the better I'm getting at coaching, I'm like, nah, that's not true.
Nah.
You just can't bench.
Yeah, it's not someone can't bench, it's just like
They need to work on their bench.
Yeah, programming things as well. How much someone can actually tolerate in terms of bench frequency, intensity.
Enjoyment.
Someone's going to enjoy any lift that's going up as well.
Yeah, they're going to bring more to the table if they enjoy deadlifting over benching. They're going to bring more mentality to mental wise to the table on that session, and that can make a big difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Confidence is massive with that. So we don't believe that 2 lifts go up and 1 lift goes down. That's kind of a big myth with powerlifting. The best powerlifters build totals. and then they weren't necessarily really good at one of the lifts to start with. They've just worked harder at it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to getting better at one lift, focusing on that one lift with everything around it really helps in terms of breaking that habit or breaking through those numbers, which we can touch on a bit more later as well. Any other myths? They're bound to happen is another myth.
A training plateau?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's figuring out or getting to it early to be able to avoid a kind of plateau.
Yeah.
You may feel stagnant or something for a short amount of time.
Yep.
But as long as you're communicating that and your coach is onto it, I suppose, to try and break through a plateau, then they don't last long.
No.
No, and we
You
always
turn it around really quickly.
Yeah, we're always trying to find ways to get stronger. You could just be too fatigued at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
That's a big one that people get really fatigued, and then they start to think they're worse, that they're getting weaker or they're regressing or something like that. When in reality you've just
tired.
Yeah, you've just got far too much fatigue going through the system at a time.
Yeah, definitely. And that sometimes people think that they've reached their strength threshold. That's why they're not able to put any more weight on the bar. Again, another myth.
Yeah.
It's not true. That's just when changes need to occur, and the communication.
Yeah.
There's a reason why your squat hasn't gone up in 3 years.
Yeah, 100%. It's not strength threshold. It's probably coming from a programming point of view, to be honest. If it's been that long.
Technique.
Yeah. Although, even if you're squatting with bad technique and you've done the work over 3 years, you should get somewhat stronger.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, the more I'm learning about programming, the more I'm trying to sort the issues out with better programming choices.
Yeah.
Obviously, technique has to do with it as well, and accessories.
Yeah.
Bridging the gap with accessories is a big one. But I definitely don't think that people, the Americans are proving it.
Yeah, they
How
keep
strong
getting
they are.
stronger. They just do a lot.
Yeah.
They train harder.
Train harder.
Yeah.
So I guess if you are suffering plateau, ask yourself, are you training hard enough? Are you training hard enough?
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
Are you putting in the effort every single session to actually get stronger and break through a plateau? Or are you just sitting there dwelling on it?
Do you understand the differences in the days and how they're structured in your program? Are you pushing one day more than you should be? Are you not pushing that day enough?
Yeah.
Do you go into one session which might be the primary lift on the lift that you struggle with, and is your brain saying that you're already shit at it?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you going, oh, I'm not very good at bench anyway, so, it's just my fucking, what do you call it one day? Quaternary day.
Yeah.
It's just my quaternary day anyway, so, I'm not going to try, and I'll just, repeat the same week as last week.
Yeah.
All those things can lead to progression on one particular lift, not going as well as you want. So breaking those things down first before coming to I've just reached a plateau is really going to help.
Yeah, well, it's going to come down to what you respond to.
Yeah.
So as a coach, we should always be banking good blocks and putting them in the back pocket for later on if we are going to change things. Usually, if we're just going to run it back, then we're going to run it back. We know you've had a successful block, or an athlete's had a very successful block, so we kind of bank that in a way where we know this is something that we can go back to if things don't go too well in the future at some point, and we could just be like, okay, let's revert back to what we had.
Block. Yeah.
And run it back because we know it worked really well at that time.
Yeah, definitely.
It could be a peaking block. I peak some people very differently to the way that I would do them when they're not peaking.
Yeah, and I think the thing that athletes and some coaches need to understand is that takes time.
Yeah, it all takes time. It takes a lot of time to kind of establish what works with someone. Like everyone responds differently to a different amount of rep ranges throughout any kind of lift. Until we have this threshold where we can push intensity so hard, or so far with volume in terms of load, until you get past a certain like rep range threshold where performance just and technique will just deteriorate. And that can be anything. That can be, for myself, it's like 7s or something on squat. It's like if I go to 8s, I'm not loading enough weight on the bar. If I do 6s, I'm loading too much. But if I go 7s, it's like this perfect rep range where my technique doesn't really deteriorate. I can cruise through it and I can put enough weight on the bar to get the stimulus required to get stronger.
And do you believe that is dynamic and that's going to change over time?
Potentially, not for a while.
So you'll just keep going at that rep range until it doesn't work anymore?
But in a peak, like, we obviously change it a little bit. But for the most part now. I respond well to high repetitions on squat always as well anyway, even if it's 3 times a week. Like, I've had blocks where I'm doing 12s on one day, 10s on one day, and 8s on another day.
That would kill someone. So if someone else did that would put them into a plateau or a regression.
Maybe. Depends.
Any other myths surrounding plateaus?
Nah, they're not. They're hard to actually be in a proper plateau. It's just communicating, I guess. The biggest myth is that, like, are you actually in one? And defining it. Like, is it just because you haven't put weight on the bar for 2 weeks? That's not a plateau.
No. And I think the thing with powerlifting is you can turn that around really quickly when you understand what's going on.
If you know why, pay attention to external factors. Obviously, we go over that a lot. External factors like, are you sore? Are you fatigued? Are you tired? Like, what's going on? Then you can easily get out of, like, a plateau if that's what you think you're in. Which it isn't hard to turn it around and just start progressing again.
I think you said something really important before, where a lot of athletes do struggle with, is thinking that one bad week of training or a couple in a row is going to lead to a massive plateau, or they're not getting stronger, and letting that thought process get stuck in their heads, and it literally, like, help making them regress even more. Instead of just being like, up he's down today, or up today, sorry. And then being able to go, okay, well, I didn't sleep well last night, or, I'm at the end of a block. So these things are, like, normal for me or common for me. And athletes should understand that, so they can communicate to their coaches and be like, felt heavy today, didn't get enough sleep last night, I understand that, next week I'll do better.
It's also just understanding, everyone responds differently to how long their block runs for. So some people could have a downtrend, at week 4. You just got to pay attention to that over time.
Paying attention. That doesn't mean you're getting weaker at week 4.
No, it just means that, that's where you need to either kick off a new block or pull back a little bit, or just resensitize that block or change things up. If things need to be changed, things need to be changed. If things don't need to be changed, don't change them. That's a big one. And understanding fully someone's block length takes time. And might take a couple or 3 times to get it right, especially with the communication on, it doesn't mean that you got weaker, it just means that that's your window for performance. It's not a plateau. If you keep pushing that window of performance, and
and not deloading when you should, or not resensitizing when you should, then you could regress.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of people as well, like, oh, this feels like it's plateauing, or this is just not going anywhere. So from a programming point of view, I've been like, okay, I'll show you that it is, just to build that confidence back, and like essentially tapered one lift through the week, and then had it show up for them on the day that I wanted it to show up, and told them exactly what was going to happen. And then it happened that way, just to rebuild that confidence with someone, and show them that they're not actually in a plateau, they're just tired and fatigued at that time.
Yeah, 100%. So is one lift more likely to plateau than the others?
If you're pushing it too hard, yeah. Or if you're not pushing it hard enough, then potentially.
Or it's not placed in the correct position in the week.
Yeah, or it's it's after something that it shouldn't be after the day before, or anything like that. I wouldn't say that's plateauing either. That's just training under acute fatigue.
Yeah, and sometimes we want that.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes in a block you want that, so you can change it the next block and make the lift show up.
Yeah, or it's like, we have a specific day ran after, we might have squats after deadlifts on a day, purposely fatigued on that day, either on the same day or the day after.
Yep.
Just for a reason. And it may feel like, they're plateauing or they're stalling or they're not going anywhere until we taper it or change things around. And then you realise, okay, like I have gotten stronger because I have actually done the work.
Yep.
I've just been masked by all this fatigue for so long.
Yeah, and again, that comes back to communication. And honestly, that's why working with a coach is so good.
Yeah.
God, trying to do that yourself would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, trying to place lifts in one area or not understanding weight. Like, athletes, unless you've got to be super in tuned as an athlete or have been around for a long period of time to understand where your fatigue's coming from.
Yeah, for sure. Like, me now, like, I couldn't coach myself. No way. I would hate to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I could do it. I could read a program and be like, okay, this is what I've got to do.
Yeah.
This is when I'm doing it. But I'd also be like, nah.
No, because you don't. Humans aren't built in with the ability to, what's that word? Self-assess.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
No, we can't look from the outside.
We cannot. So like, if you wake up and go, tired, you're tired. We don't necessarily go, oh, I'm tired today, but XYZ, I'm still gonna do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't happen. I mean, we can think about it after it's happened. You know what I'm saying? But do you ever go into
it? We can self-reflect.
We can self-reflect.
Can't self-assess.
No, we cannot predict either.
Yeah.
Like, if you went into a session going, oh, my rating, I'm this tired today, but I know that XYZ. You just don't think that way as an athlete, right?
No, not really.
No, that's a coach's job to actually go, this is affecting this, your deadlift is placed near your squat, so this is affecting that. There's no way. You'd look at it and go, why am I not progressing?
Or even asking the little questions as a coach. Something didn't go well. You're not going to sit there and ask yourself, like, did I sleep well last night? Like, have I eaten well? What did I do? Like, did I go for a walk? Like, you don't ask yourself those sorts of questions. Whereas someone looking from the outside may not know, may not have been around, so then they'll ask that, and then that'll re-jog your memory to them, where you can then, self-reflect and be like, oh shit,
I didn't drink enough water.
Yeah, I had a terrible sleep, I'm not hydrated, I didn't eat before I trained, my cat's sick.
My cat's sick.
Anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Personal experiences.
Training plateaus.
Yeah.
It's hard because I haven't had a lot of training plateaus, I suppose. I did early on, actually, until I started working more with Sean, when we started going more RP based, and me being able to express things a lot more myself. Being capped by percents through a whole week just didn't work for me.
Capped by percents through the whole week. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just the whole week being percentage based, or like being just like ran on a 4-week block and then deloading. I didn't respond well to that.
Nah.
Just because I'm someone that can work at a high percent of my max through like multiple repetitions. Obviously, like I've hit like 240 plus for like reps of 6 sets of 6 or something, and you know.
Yuck. You did that too. You squatted 250.
From 255 or 5, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like my max is 290 or something, so it's like I can work quite high in relative to percent of my 1RM.
You can't, and you cannot predict that percentage based.
Nah, like if you look at it, like you're only going to prescribe someone, you know, 5 at like 80-85% or something like that, whereas I far exceed that.
Yeah. So what did you do? So you said you early on your experience at training Plateau, and you figured out that it was because you had too much percentage in your program.
Yeah, and I just like I know myself, and I know that I'm someone that can work at that kind of higher end in terms of percentages, and like kind of push that threshold in intensity as well quite frequently, and get away with it because I recover quite fast, or used to.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a bit stronger, I don't recover as fast as I used to. But that was probably the biggest plateaus that I went through were early on.
But again, you could argue that wasn't a plateau. You can argue you were learning how to train yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I learned a lot. I also learned that like it wasn't much that needed changing. It wasn't like the way that my program was laid out or anything.
Yep.
It was just the numbers.
Too intense or not intense
Not
enough?
intense
Not
enough.
intense
Like
enough.
I wasn't training hard enough because they were, you know, just percentage based numbers on my whole sheet.
How long was that plateau? Like how many blocks did you run before you realised that you weren't training at a high enough percentage?
It was more my totals weren't really going anywhere for quite some time, and I was seeing people getting stronger, and I was actually seeing you know, my own athletes at the time get stronger when I was using just RPE with them, just trying to learn it myself, and they just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and I was like, I want to learn more about this myself. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago when I reached out to Sean and really dug into like different training methodologies, and like learnt more of what they were doing over in the States. So then as soon as I did that, I kind of got stronger almost straight away, and learnt a lot, obviously. But I broke my arm, but I didn't really plateau through that either. I came back really fast.
That was weird. I remember on Instagram, you had your arm put back together, and then one of the first benches you benched like 120.
Yeah, I benched
And I was like,
the same weight that I broke it with.
What the fuck? Nuts. Was that just squat or all across that plateau from percentage? Was that just squat? All of it? So even bench?
Yeah. Well, I think bench is the lift where we can predominantly get away with a lot more RP and higher RP and higher intensity and higher frequency and volume, and it's like, it is like, I've had this conversation with a lot of athletes, but it is kind of the one where you can get away with overshooting.
You can.
And overshooting, generally speaking, throughout training probably won't lead you to plateaus if you're smart enough. Sometimes we do have to force progressions in a way. Sometimes it does have to be done. You know, it's just being smart about what you do after it.
Yeah, definitely.
It also builds confidence. If you're going to just load something up and put something on the bar and hit it, builds a ton of confidence.
Yeah.
You know, like I forced myself to a 300 kilo deadlift.
Yeah.
I had really no right to go there in terms of like what was on my program, but I wanted it that bad, and it built that confidence, and now I'm like, okay, I know I can pull 300 kilos.
Yeah.
So I'm still like over the moon with that.
Yep, and that's just communication.
Yeah, and just forcing myself to get there, and I broke out of a long-term deadlift plateau, to be honest, by just being like, okay, like let's just fucking go.
Yeah.
Let's do it, and let's just work hard.
Yeah.
Let's just force my way out of this.
Yep.
And get through it.
Yeah, I think, and that's the mindset that I was talking about before. If you go into a mindset, I think sometimes a mindset can get in there where lifters want to make the lift perfect before it can progress. That's one that is really, really like holding people back, is that, I didn't have my midfoot, or, it's felt heavy off the ground.
I actually had this conversation with an athlete yesterday. Sent me a video of squat. It was a 7 kilo PR, all-time PR.
Sick.
But started the before he'd sent the video was like, I tipped a little bit in the hole.
So?
And as a coach, like, I don't remember everyone's like PRs off the top of my head straight away, and I didn't realize. So the first thing as a coach I'm going to look for is why this happened, and then try and figure out why it happened, or provide feedback for that, and then a technique adjustment or something. When in reality,
you forgot about the PR.
Yeah, in reality, there's 7 kilos more than he's ever put on his back, so it's like. It's not going to be perfect, and you need to celebrate that win before you go and look at the technique adjustment that needs to be made, because it's an all-time PR that you've never touched before.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about before, with the mindset of I'm not going to progress on my X lift until it's perfectly executed.
Yeah,
that's not correct.
No, not at all.
In powerlifting anymore. If it was, then you'd see everybody with perfect technique all of the time.
Yeah,
but you don't.
Like some of the best lifters in the world don't have perfect technique.
No. And it doesn't need to change.
They're just fucking strong.
But if you're trying to chase perfect technique, then you're probably going to be holding yourself back if you've been in a plateau.
Yeah, because if we're chasing perfect technique, and in terms of perfect technique, like biomechanics wise, like all that does is you start to slow down as a lifter.
Yeah.
You slow down to feel perfect technique without trying to move fast and move, strong and efficiently.
Yeah.
And that's all that it comes down to sometimes. It's just like getting from point A to point B with a bar.
Yeah, that's it. Like I had one of my lifters send me, we just started the block, and sent me a double last night and moved awesome. And he knew he was twisting, and he was like, yeah, but I don't care, just hit a really good double. And I was like, sick, man.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. And that's the kind of feedback that, I know you're twisting.
Yeah.
I know it, I see it, I'm just going to change some accessories or pop something in your program.
Yeah.
I'm not going to point it out, and it's hard for us as coaches, because then we get stuck in, do you ever get stuck in like programming plateaus?
With an athlete?
Yeah, because of noise, or because of, you're like, oh fuck, I've got to fix this, or, like how you just said, tipping in the hole.
Yeah, but that was just like a PR, so I was like, I tip when I PR too, so.
Shouldn't everybody?
Yeah, I think like if you're putting something, like 7 kilos is a lot too.
That's a lot. I was about to say before, that's a fucking massive PR.
Yeah, if you're putting something on your back you've never done before, like.
Expect it to feel like shit.
Yeah, expect it to be hard.
So I think what we said before we were going on performance, you went over you. I'm going to go back to, is one lift more likely to plateau than the other? What are some reasons why each lift might plateau? So I think bench can sometimes technical changes
can make it plateau. For a little bit until it clicks. Mm-hmm. Until something clicks, for sure.
Yeah.
It could click straight away.
Yeah.
Things could just boom. Frequency, too much, too little.
Yeah.
Like sometimes even taking a day away. Like I know we talk a lot about high frequency benching at the moment, but sometimes even just like taking
a bench day away.
Yeah, taking a day away can be just as good as adding a day.
Yeah. 100%.
depending on how someone benches.
Yeah, I think it's really important too to understand leverages and what people can handle. I've gone through this for years with Sam. Really likes squatting. Hit 300 by doing 8 sets a week.
Yeah.
8 sets of squats a week, and 1 was a single.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Like, or you know what I mean? Whereas he used to do 15 sets a week.
Across 2 days?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah, which is too much.
It's just too much frequency.
Yeah, but learning that was important because it wasn't necessarily a plateau, it was just too much frequency.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, squatting is one. Squatting's probably one with more likely to plateau with too much or too little frequency, hey?
Yeah, the other thing too is like you can say like, you know, we plateaued when he was doing X amount of work or, you know, too much work or this, but I'll always go back to like the fact that you still did that work.
Yeah, that work was really important.
Yeah, it's still established a baseline to get to where someone is. So
yeah.
Though you're in a plateau or feeling like you're in a plateau, you're still working, you're still getting, you know, stuff done.
Yeah.
And it just could be expressed, you know, later on down the track. You know, I've had blocks where I've ran someone that I know can only handle squatting 2 times a week, but I pushed them, put a third one in on purpose to pull it out a block or 2 later to then let all that work be expressed, and they've just absolutely fucking exploded in that block when I've taken it out.
Yeah.
Just as I expected.
I totally believe that is one of the reasons why that squat went so well.
Yeah.
Because there was too much in there, and taking it away made it feel heaps better.
Yeah, and it's just, like I said, like he's done that work and established that baseline and built that muscle.
Yeah.
To be able to then, you know, take it away and be able to handle just less.
And that's, again, we're going to go back to communication. So, you know, communicating with your athlete. Hey, athlete, I'm going to put 3 days of your squats in a week. It's going to make you feel shit.
Yeah.
But wait until next block. It's going to feel heaps better. If you know what you're doing with your programming and having that communication and you're open with your athlete, then that isn't a plateau. That's just helping them to express strength.
Yeah, and then I probably don't communicate the fact that like it's gonna feel like shit.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, like some people respond really well to 3 times straight away. So it's like I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is gonna feel like shit. But if it does, then I know. Like.
What if you know it's gonna feel like shit? Do you say?
We generally we don't.
Yep.
Because until you do it, you don't really know.
True.
So it's like you can think. You can obviously have your own thoughts and own biases towards something, but until you actually do something with someone, you're not going to know. Do
you explain to them if they come to you and they're like, fuck, I feel like death? Do you go, well, this could be the reason why?
Well, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's take out that squat day, or you know, we're going to take it out because I have noticed myself, you know, numbers have been not really going anywhere or going backwards, or, you know, it looks like you're starting to force things just to add more load on the bar each week, and we'll take that day away next block, and then things I think will feel better than just as they were before we added that day in.
Yeah, cool. Deadlifts. What are some likely reasons why they might plateau?
Too much.
Too much intensity, conventional.
Yeah. Too much frequency. Some people don't need to deadlift twice a week.
Yep.
Some people, you know, just need one conventional day and one RDL day or something.
Yeah.
It depends.
If you're listening, the athlete will tell you.
Yeah.
They'll say to you, second day of deadlifts feel like shit.
Yeah, it could be but it could be someone that needs the frequency of 2 days. So it's like, okay, let's just work up to like 1 triple and then 1 back down instead of 5. And that's it for that second day.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be predominantly someone that's a bit stronger and can lift a bit more load because their warm-ups will take longer and they're going to be lifting more weight in general just to get there.
Yeah.
You know, a beginner or novice kind of lifter will always be able to handle 2 days deadlifting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, you know, later on is when we start to consider other things.
Yeah, definitely. And when you get it right, you see spikes in performance really quickly.
Yeah.
Really, like within a couple of weeks, quickly.
Yeah.
When you get it right. When you get it wrong,
Yeah, once fatigue starts to wash out and people start to feel better,
Yeah.
then you know you've got it.
Definitely. Okay, so programming, we just kind of went over that a little bit. So like in a programming perspective, it's just listening to the lifter.
Yeah.
They'll let you know.
If they communicate well.
If they communicate well. Yeah.
Communication happens on both ends.
Mm.
Yeah. So you gotta let an athlete know that you're open to them communicating like that.
Yeah.
Before they're actually gonna do it. Some of them won't. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to annoy you.
How'd you know I could tell you this?
It's fucking our job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Coaches are a big part of an athlete's life, whether they like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with programming, I think not getting, don't marry yourself to one style of programming is a really big tip.
Yeah.
So like people, I think you told me one of your athletes responds to sets of 10 all the way up to comp.
Yeah.
And he's not small, like he's a medium.
Yeah.
So, you know, like...
Yeah, I've got people that respond to 10s forever. Like they just do. Someone that, you know, speaking with another athlete that I know in the States recently, and he I don't know, hits one single on deadlifts a week, and then his has 2 sessions, and the other 2 sessions are literally like 2 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 10 on
deadlifts.
Yeah, on both days. So both days are both high repetition days, and just one single, and it absolutely fucking explodes.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, finding that, and that takes time.
Yeah, it does. Definitely takes time.
Yeah, like, don't be afraid to run a block that you know isn't going to go anywhere, and then make the changes after that. That's not a plateau.
Yeah.
That's just making changes to training programs.
Yeah. 100%.
Anything else with programming? Just listen. Try new things.
Yeah, they're like, we're lucky here. We can all talk to each other on what we've done to try and break people out of plateaus. But you know, communicating through with other coaches or athletes to see what they've done is a good thing.
Totally. What about from an athlete perspective, man? Like mindset and stuff. Do you have any tips on ways to break through plateaus with, you know, a lift that might feel crap, or, you know, not getting any progress over years on the platform on one lift?
For me, personally, it's kind of the same as just dealing with an injury. And I know, like, you know, I'm going to forget about this plateau that I'm kind of dealing with. And I don't really think about plateaus myself in general, ever. Because I just know that, like, I'm just training to get better and just practicing.
Yeah.
But I know that, like, where I am is not where I'm going to be in 6 months' time. Basically all the time. Like, that's how I deal with injuries, and I've said that before. Like, I know we get over it, and I know things get better, and that's why I try not to let them sort of affect me that much.
So I guess what you're saying is just looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah. Realize that, like, you're not going to be stuck in this plateau forever, and that things will get better as long as you're doing the right things around it to try and get there.
Yeah, I feel like with training, it's more like understanding where the bigger picture is, but then having that weekly and daily breakdown of what you're actually going in to achieve is really important.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, some athletes might go, well, this is my goal, which obviously if you're in the IPF, it's worlds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But not actually understanding to get to worlds, you need to perform X, Y, Z first.
Yeah.
And that plateau might be because you haven't performed X, Y, Z first.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, a lot of things. If you're going to go to worlds, you've got to be out working a lot of people.
Yeah. Forest through the trees, I think that saying is.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that does it for that. So I guess we've kind of debunked that we don't really think plateaus occur. It's just training, and being smart with your training is really important. And if you haven't made progress on one lift, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Finding out that reason is really important.
Yeah, and always having that outside look. perspective on your training to kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, and if you're working with a coach and they're not communicating with you on why something why something isn't working, or or you're overthinking it, then you need to expect more from who's around you, because when it comes to breaking through these things or working through these things, there's got to be a team effort.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, tough.